Hey everyone, welcome to a brand new episode of Bob Boom. I'm your host, Bob. If you ever see any ads on my channel, then YouTube put them there. I am currently enjoying the absolute train wreck that Vault 76 is. It is beautiful. It is just a train wreck that's on fire, and no one seems to know how to put it out. Now, there's quite a few issues that you may have heard of. One of them being that the Pip Boy is deletable. So your access to menus, your access to your character, the actual device can be deleted, and when it is deleted, the player can no longer access any information about the character other than the escape screen. That's it. You press escape and you can quit the game. But guess what? It saved your character. So now you have to make a whole new character that doesn't have a deleted Pip Boy. Let's see, one of the other big issues, at least for the beta, now this one's fixable. Their game client. Essentially, when you load up the game client, it checks to see if the game's downloaded and then downloads the necessary files. The problem is that the game client wasn't recognizing that the game was installed entirely, and people had to re-download close to 50 gigs of the game, and then it kept looping. So they download that 50, then all of a sudden the client would crash, then re-download the 50, then crash, then it was hilarious. And the fact that people are freaking out about it, it's like, okay, yeah, I get it's in beta and stuff. That's something that, maybe might require like a day or something of fixing. You get your top guys on it and ta-da, it's fixed. But just to know that something like that happened is hilarious. One of the other big issues that apparently has risen up and actually has been an issue since Fallout 4, just not enough people really cared about it, was that the gameplay speed is tied to frame rate. Essentially, if the game ran at 60 frames per second, which is the optimal thing that you're really kind of trying to reach for here, your character would swing a baton or shoot a gun at what would be considered a normal pace. But if you turned off the frame rate limiter and you shot for like 120, 180, 200, if your system could even handle it, the gameplay was actually faster. Like your guy would start swinging the baton at 100 miles an hour. The pistol, the fucking semi-auto pistol sounded automatic. Like it's terrible. Now, for single player, this was fine. This is something you can adjust. But in multiplayer, though, especially a game that's, I guess, kind of new to multiplayer, it's not okay. This is a serious issue because you are going to have people with high-end systems. You are going to have people with low-end systems. All of them are going to be wanting to play with each other and stuff like that. And all of a sudden you have this guy who's like, I'm just going to turn off my frame rate limiter, and he's going to run around at sonic speeds, blue hedgehog level fast, and just beating things up super fast. Everything else in the game is super fast for them. It causes errors. It causes problems. And the fact that something like that completely went over Bethesda's heads during development shows how little they're actually caring about improving the game, and just tells me that Vault 76 is an immediate cash grab. They saw people complaining or constantly bringing out the idea, it needs co-op, it needs co-op. We want to go through the wasteland with our friends, blah 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 blah. All right, fine. So Bethesda's just like, you know what? Let's just make something just to shut them up. And they're trying to say Vault 76 is, like, this is going to be like this next big amazing thing. The world's going to be completely fleshed out. Yet somehow, even in reviews right now, people are kind of disappointed with just the general gameplay. So let's say you get past the deletable Pip-Boy. Let's say you get past the launcher. Let's say you get past the frame rate issue. Like, you're able to run the game, make your character, and run around. There's not a whole lot in the world. There's very little. Sure, new areas, slightly new enemies, but we'll see. We will see. I am just so sick of fetch quest. I'm so sick of going into this random building thinking there's going to be a lot to it, and really it's just a maze that circles around in itself. And you know exactly what I mean. They did it all the time in Skyrim, where essentially you enter the maze, the exit to the maze is right there at the entrance, but you just have to do like this one big loop, like it's some kind of carnival ride, and you pick up all the loot on the way, and then you jump down, and then you're able to exit. Ta-da! It happened way too often, and that also kind of happened in Fallout 4, which is why I did a lot of mods. I did a lot of stuff that brought me away from the dungeons, because the dungeons, or what would be the right term? I mean, they're not really called dungeons in Fallout, are they? The explorable areas, I don't know what to call them. I can't do it off the top of my head. They were just kind of boring. Sure, there was backstory to some of them, like the school that had pink paste for food. You know, it's like, oh, well, if you want to listen to all the audio logs and take all the hints from the environment and all this other kind of stuff, there's a story to put together. But I'm not seeing a whole lot of people talking about stuff like that in Vault 76. Really, it's just been nothing but a mountain of complaints. Now, tons of people have been enjoying the shit out of Red Dead Redemption right now, but like I said in our previous post, I think I'm going to hold off just a little bit. I want to finish God of War, probably 2 other games maybe. We'll see. We'll see. Because Steam right now has their Steam sale going on, and if something I want goes on sale, well, we'll see. I do want Red Dead, but I'm still going to wait. So, how does Bethesda learn from this? How do they move on from Vault 76? They actually need to take a step back and realize the developer that they are, right? They need to realize that they are a AAA developer. They need to realize that things like this are unacceptable. And they're still going to make sales. They're still going to get money. They're still going to get plenty of attention. There's still going to be paid reviews out there that are going to completely try and put it on a pedestal, say it's one of the best Fallouts to come out in years, or since Fallout 4, all this other kind of crap. But we all know that it's going to be kind of boring, especially with the modding community for it. The modding community is not too happy with Bethesda, because apparently, because it's more co-op focused and because it can go online, they decided to also put a chain around the modding community, or at least the modding aspect of it, and say only our approved mods will be allowed to play with everybody else, which means that if you were to download something like a weapon mod, you know, something that adds in parts and things like that, other people wouldn't be able to download that as well unless it goes through Bethesda's network and then they charge for it, which might give like an 80%, 60% cut to the developer. But at the same time, it's just that really sullies what the modding community is about. Sure, there are some people out there that really want that money or really want that recognition to say, hey, look, I put work out there and people are paying for it. At the same time, though, they started mods and stuff like that for fun. A lot of these people started mods just to see what they could do. I started this channel for fun. I started this channel just to see where it would go. And now, thankfully, thanks to all of you, I have 650 subscribers. Not everyone listens. Hell, lately, I mean, none of my videos have really been even cracking 100 views. But it's something to do. It's something I kind of enjoy doing. I have a new microphone and everything. I went through all that trouble just for something I enjoy, which is what these modders do. And when you would put a chain on that sullies it, right? That's why I don't put ads on my channel, because there are guidelines to the content that I could upload, right? Because then I would be thinking, well, if I want to get ad revenue, I can't say this, or I can't talk about this the way I want to. I can't upload this. There are too many limits to this, and it's not a good idea. I would not suggest giving Vault 76 the attention it's asking for right now. Right now, it actually kind of feels more like I'm going to throw this out here. I'm going to say it feels more like a No Man's Sky at the moment, right? Apparently, everyone forgot about that. Now that No Man's Sky is coming out with a new expansion that adds an underwater environment, it's going to be a totally new game, you guys. There's going to be a whole lot more. It's like, guys, y'all just played Subnautica for a little while and came out with this content way late. Way late. Oh, man. I understand that you want to give the developers some credit. They have a studio filled to the brim with people. A lot of them are very passionate about the series. A lot of them are passionate about the arts, the sound direction, the gameplay, whatever it takes. There's something about Fallout that keeps us all connected, right? But from a AAA developer with 14 days until release, these are not problems to be having in your beta. Like these are kinks and stuff that should have been found and should have been worked out the second that you guys decided to do in-house testing. How much in-house testing did you do? How many errors did you ignore? I don't know. I have a friend who used to work with EA. He actually used to be one of the game testers for EA, and he would test out some of their sports games. And they have a system set up to where you would report an error or bug, and they would take note of that. But the problem is whenever he was reporting specific bugs, stuff that he would point out, they would tell him, don't worry about that bug. We're looking for game-breaking bugs. We're looking for stuff that really breaks the game. And he kind of was, in his own ranting way, telling me about how he would talk about how the player would drop the ball, even though the animation, like, he would catch it, like, the ball would, like, go straight through his hands. So technically, he did catch it, but the ball is no longer actually in his hands, right? And it would count it. Like, the ball would just phase right through his hands. And he would report that. They say, don't worry about that bug. Just make the game crash. Because all EA wanted to do every single year was at least release something that at least worked. I mean, I'll give them that. At least they have something that works. But, sports games were never really my bag. Not every single year, no. But you get where I'm coming at, right? At least make a somewhat stable product. When you have a game that's mainly single player, that's affected by your frame rate of all things, and then you just bring that over into multiplayer, you should have known this was going to be a problem. You should have known that by in-house playtesting that people were going to mess with settings. People were going to fiddle with things. I just don't understand how you could have these problems 14 days until release. 14 days, 2 weeks. You got to fix all these problems in 2 weeks, which means that by actual launch, you're going to be requiring people to download big patches. And talk about big patches. A friend of mine, or in fact my brother, he decided to ask me where games are going in the next 10 years or so. And I was like, I don't know, maybe like an all digital environment, you just downloading the game. And he goes, no. But do you think games could go past downloading them? And I was like, you mean like a streaming service or something like that? He's like, yeah. Like, do you think like we could go past like storing games? I was like, dude, people have already tried that. People have already tried that. You need decent internet connection. You need a really good internet connection. And for the limited amount of services that do it, for example, one of the ones that's currently working is PlayStation Now, where you can play like a bunch of PlayStation 2 games and stuff like that, and it gets streamed to your PlayStation 4. Your PlayStation 4 pretty much just takes your controller prompts, sends it to a server. The server emulates the game and just sends the video through the internet to your console. So you're technically playing it, just it's using the resources on their servers instead. So one of the things that came out of this conversation is why the fuck is Call of Duty Black Ops 4 200 megabytes on a CD and like 50 something gigs for a download? Like, you honestly really shouldn't do that. You are pretty much charging people full price, $60 for a disc that just has a launcher on it, and then they just download the rest from there. Like, oh hey, look, it's got some music, it's got some menu prompts in it and stuff like that, all on the disc. And then from there, it just downloads everything from the server. I just paid $60. I just waited in line for hours, maybe at a midnight launch, right? And now I have to go home, and now I have to install 50 something gigs just to play this game. No, 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 no. You don't do that. Now, granted, Call of Duty made like 500 million, right? Or maybe even a little bit more by now. It made about 500 mil, which is pretty good. But of course, shareholders and stuff like that, they're not too satisfied with that. That's actually pretty short for the amount of money that was, I guess, invested into the series and what they were expecting from the next big battle royale hit. But you just, if there's anything to learn from this, don't do that. You have to at least put more on those discs. You can't just give them 200 megabytes on a CD and tell them, okay, have fun when the rest of the game downloads, when the actual game itself downloads. That's sad. That's pathetic. That's that is not customer service. And that is another unacceptable instance of gaming that I have to bitch about on my channel. So thank you for tuning in. I'm sure I'm going to make some more content later. Hell, if more fires get started with Fallout, I'll let you know because I am really enjoying this. I really am.